Does Equalizer 3 live up to its predecessors? Find out today on the Brandon and Ryan Hour. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Ryan. And yeah, so today we are talking about the third installment in the Equalizer franchise, which brings back Denzel Washington and the director, whose name just left my mind as I was trying to say it.
Antonio Fuqua.
Antonio Fuqua. Yep. As well as Dakota Fanning, who was also in a Denzel Washington movie called Man on Fire.
Yep. Okay,
All
cool.
right, then.
Full disclosure, there will be plenty of spoilers, so if you have not seen any of the Equalizer movies, we're probably going to fill you in on everything that's happened, so just hang tight. All right. Oh, and leave us some comments what you think about our thoughts, and let us know what you thought about the movie if you've seen it. All right, Ryan.
Yes, Brandon.
Convince me.
Convince you? Convince you of what?
That this one was a good movie.
I mean, it was a good movie.
Was it?
The storyline.
Convince me.
I'm trying, but you keep interrupting me.
Oh, am I?
So the storyline was great. We get to revisit Denzel Washington's character. The action, when there's action, is good. It is a little bit of a slow burn to get started, but it's still, the narrative pacing was good. The acting was great. Yeah.
You haven't convinced me.
I don't know what more you need convincing on.
I mean, it's got a lot of problems. It's not as good as the first two, by far.
I disagree with you. Okay.
Character development. There's not a lot of character development in this one. In the first two, there was more character development.
Right. So they've already gotten that out of the way. So you're picking up with a fully developed character now.
Yeah, but in the other two, there were other characters that were developed that had character development along with him. This one didn't have that.
Okay. I don't feel like it suffered because of it, but that's fine.
Well, I think it did, because I think that's the main part of the first two movies was his relationships, getting to know people, helping them out, and then killing people along the way. So the movie opens and you see this old Italian guy with a kid driving up in this place where there's just dead bodies laying all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Then he walks through the house, which was irritating because he put his gun. I was irritated the whole time because he put his gun in the back of his pants and then kept his arm back there, like
kept his hand on it the entire time. Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
You're gonna have a gun, put it, like, just hold your gun. Like, it was irritating. And then you're going around seeing all of the dead bodies, and you're like, what happened here?
Mm-hmm.
And then we come into the room where there's two henchmen who've got Robert at gunpoint.
Yep.
And he just tells that guy, how'd you find me? Or the guy said, how'd you find me? And he said, didn't matter, or something like that. And then he said, you have something that belongs to me, or it doesn't belong to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he killed all three of them. But then he shot him with the shotgun. He shot him twice, and then he shot him with the shotgun twice.
Uh-huh.
Which is a little out of character.
Okay.
Yeah. The opening scene where all the dead bodies are there, and they're showing you, like, it's graphic. One guy's got a meat cleaver through his head. This movie is rated R, by the way.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Ryan didn't know that.
I completely forgot that the other two were rated R. So I was walking into this thinking it was a PG-13 movie. And it is not.
Nope. Not at all. So, yeah. So you've got all that gore that you didn't see what happened. And then he just kills those two guys, shoots the I guess the main bad guy twice, and then picks up a shotgun, shoots him in the butt, and then he shoots him in the face. And then he takes the guy's keys, and then you just see him leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And then the little kid that he's with, like, he
Yeah,
points
the
a
old
gun
guy.
at him and tells him to stay in the car.
Yeah, and then turns his back. I knew. I was like, hey, don't just leave that kid unattended.
Yeah.
Don't do it. He's gonna shoot you. And
And he shoots him in
I
the
was
back
right.
with
Yeah.
with a little 22 rifle,
Yep.
which is dumb. But um so you don't know why he's there, you don't know what happened. All you know is dead bodies everywhere. And then he's shot, and then he's picked up on the side of the road after he passes out from bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
And a cop picks him up and takes him to a doctor who fixes him up
Yeah, and tells
and
the
asks
cop
no questions.
tells the cop, hey, this man, you brought him here because he suffered from a fall.
Yeah,
Which
like why did the cop go, like, where, well, that doesn't even make sense.
well, they're in a it looks like just like a small knit community. So it doesn't look like it's a massive sprawling metropolitan city. So he took him to somebody he knew could help him.
Yeah, but he's a cop.
Okay.
Like, why is he not interested in how he fell?
I don't know.
Because he clearly didn't fall.
Yeah.
Like, the cop knows he got shot. The doctor knows he got shot, but they're still calling it a fall. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? But then he's acting weird, right? To me, Robert was acting strange.
Why? How was he acting strange to you?
First, the thing with the kid, pointing the gun at the kid,
Well,
seemed
he didn't
weird.
know who was in the car to begin with.
He
He
saw
just
it
saw
was a kid.
not
He
originally.
saw it was a kid.
Not originally.
He
When he
still pointed the
did,
gun after him after he knew it was a kid.
okay, but he didn't shoot the kid.
Didn't say he shot him. I'm saying he.
Right. I'm saying he was startled, pointed a gun in that direction, saw it was a kid, said, "Don't move anymore," and then lowered the gun.
No,
Like
he
he,
had the gun on him the whole time until he turned his back. Until he told him to stay in the car,
yeah,
and he turned his back. That's when he put his gun down.
I think he lowered his gun before then
No, he didn't.
because he had it pointed, said, "Stay in the car," lowered the gun, and then
He told him
started
to stay in
walking
the
toward.
car like 8 times. And then he said something in Italian. He
Okay,
said something in Italian and stay in the car. Then he lowered the gun and turned.
it didn't seem out of character to me, but okay.
It did. Because he's never had an odd relationship, a hostile relationship in any of the other movies with children.
Right, but he also hasn't walked out of somewhere where he just murked a bunch of people and got startled by somebody in a car. I don't think he was expecting anybody to be out there. So he was on guard, being defensive.
Right, but he knew it was a kid.
Not originally.
How long does it take you to recognize a child?
Not before he raised the gun did he know it was a child.
Right.
He saw someone
and
in
then
the
how
car raise
long
his gun.
after you know it was a child do you lower the gun?
When you realize it's not a threat. But he didn't know he wasn't a threat.
That's out of character.
I don't think it is.
I think it is.
Okay.
Have you watched the other 2 movies?
Yes, I've watched the other 2 movies.
Okay.
I don't think it's out of character, though.
I do.
Okay.
And then he's acting weird with the doctor and the cop and in the city, right? He's like,
No. How is he acting weird in the city?
what?
How is he acting weird in the city?
Super suspicious, super like he was being overly evasive and
He doesn't know who these people are or how they're connected with the people that he just took out, if at all. So he's just being cautious.
he's like quite a ways away from where he was.
Not really.
Yeah,
No.
really.
He was maybe 50, 60 miles away. He was not that far out.
Yeah, but you said it's a small knit community, so those communities are small. 50, 60 miles isn't like it is here. For 50, 60 miles is you have to drive to go to the grocery store.
I don't think it was that. I don't think he was acting
It
suspicious.
was
He just
hours
didn't.
because
He didn't know who he was dealing with. He didn't know anything about these people. He was trying to piece together what's going on and who these people are.
right. I get that.
So I don't think he was acting out of character at all.
I didn't say he was acting out of character there. I said he was acting weird.
I don't get that.
Okay. That's fine. Um yeah, so I don't know. The kid thing and then the gore and then you don't find out why he was there until the very end of the movie.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a little bit of mystery going on.
It's just not how it's usually set up in the movie, in the other two movies.
Okay. Are you allergic to mystery?
No, but this isn't a mystery movie.
Are you allergic to a little bit of change in the formula?
When it completely changes the the feel of the movie, yeah.
Okay. I don't think it changed the feel of the movie. We knew he was doing something. We just didn't know what.
Right. But you're presuming a lot.
Presuming he's doing something, I don't feel like that's a presumption.
Presuming he's doing something legitimate.
I never said he was doing something legitimate. I just said he was doing something.
Yeah, he's breathing, he's doing something.
Okay.
You have no idea why he killed all those guys in the vineyard.
Well, we know they're bad guys.
How do you know they're bad guys?
From the discussion he had with the main old guy who walked in, and he was like, "Do you know who I am?" They set him up as a villain. Like, hey, I'm not somebody that you mess around with. I'm a bad guy.
If
Why are
somebody
you
walked
here?
into my house, I'd be like, "Do you know who I am?" And then I would kill them.
Okay, they set that guy up to be a bad guy from the very beginning.
Okay. So maybe, maybe, but I don't know. It didn't fit with the other two movies, mainly because like you kept talking, or you didn't keep talking, but you said there was action.
Yeah, I
I
said
don't.
when there's action. When there was
When
action,
is
it was
there
good.
action?
I mean, when he takes out the guy with his two guards at the very beginning, and then yeah, there's not a whole lot of action until the end of the movie. When he starts taking out the mafia, basically.
Is there a
That's
lot of action there?
yeah. I mean, there's action. I didn't say a lot of. I said when there is action, it's good.
What action was?
Uh,
Where were the action scenes?
so the van crashing into the guy, and then him walking up and killing the other two, three people. When he went to that guy's house and started taking everybody out, those are action scenes, and that was well done.
The
It's
only
not
time
a
you
non-stop action fest, but there is action
right,
in the
but
movie.
the only time you see him do anything is when he killed the three guys at the beginning of the movie, and then when he killed the two guys at by the van.
Uh huh.
Because there's four guys there, but you don't see him kill two of them.
Right.
You just see him kill the other two. And the only thing he does to kill one of them is hits him in the head with a wine bottle.
Which was pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then at the end of the movie, all he does is shoot people and he strangles a guy. And he stabs one guy in the neck.
Okay. I didn't say it was action-packed the entire time. I said when there is
Right.
action, it's
But
well
the
done.
action in the other two movies is much more involved.
Okay.
Like in the second one, when at the beginning of the movie, when he's on the train and there's like 4 or 5 guys in there, and he does the stopwatch thing, and he proceeds to kill all of them with like items in the room and their own knives and all that kind of stuff. And then there's actually a fight. There weren't really any actual fights in this movie.
Okay, that's fair.
And all the other two movies, like the fight, those timed fights that he has is like part of his shtick.
Okay.
So it's lacking in this movie.
I still think that when there was action, it was well done. It's not an action thriller, though. It is much more
It
of a...
says action crime thriller.
Okay, it is not an action thriller, though. If we're looking at it objectively, for what was on the screen, it is not an action thriller movie.
So
It
it's
is...
not what it says it is.
I mean, I don't care who did the marketing for it. That's an incorrect
Not
description.
the marketing.
Yes, it is.
No,
If-
it's not.
If they're saying it's an action thriller, then it is marketing. But that's not what the movie is.
If I paint something with blue paint and I say, "Come see my red paintings."
Yeah, then you're doing a poor job at marketing and you're lying.
No, I'm a moron and I'm not making what I say I'm making. If you make an action movie and it doesn't have action in it, you're not making an action movie.
Well,
You're
who's saying
making
it's an action movie?
the freaking people making the movie, the producers, the actors, the executives, the director, the writer.
You don't
everybody.
know who's saying that though. That could have just been a marketing
Everybody.
thing that they've been doing.
What are you talking about?
Like that's how they're marketing the movie, saying, "Hey, come watch it. It's an action thriller." But that's not what the movie. Looking at the movie, that's not what it was though.
Right. If you go watch a movie, everybody's telling you, everybody in the movie and who has anything to do with the movie says, "Come watch our comedy movie." And you go watch this movie and it's got no comedy in it. Are they lying or is the movie stupid and bad?
I mean, I don't know if the movie's stupid and bad. It could just not be what it was marketed as.
It's not marketing.
It is marketing. That's exactly, they're saying, watch this because you enjoy action stuff. If it's not an action stuff movie, an action thriller, you're getting something different.
Right. But if you sit down
And that
say,
is 100% all marketing.
If you sit down and say, "I'm going to write an action novel,"
Uh-huh.
and you write a murder mystery,
Uh-huh. Then when you go to market it, you change to, "Here's my murder mystery novel."
right?
If the studio didn't do that,
right,
then that's on the
Wait.
studio.
Wait, hold on. You're like, "I'm going to write an action novel," and then you sit down and you write a murder mystery, and you're like, "Man, I love my action novel," and then you go sell it, and you're like, "Come on, people, buy my action novel." And they buy it and they're like, "This is a murder mystery. It's not really action, guy." And he's like, "What are you talking about? It's got action. People die in it." You're like, "That's not, that's what this is." They're like, "We're going to make an action movie." And it doesn't have the action.
Yeah. But one, I haven't seen any interviews for this, so I don't know who's saying that. And two, it could have just been studio interference saying, "Hey, people like action, we're going to market it as action." So I'm
okay.
saying for what it was not an action movie, but for what it was, it is a good movie.
On its own or in the trilogy?
Both.
All right, I disagree.
I think on its own, it's a great story. The acting was great, but comparing it to the other two, I think it's not as good as one, but it's better
What's
than
great
two.
about the story?
You have somebody who's, I mean, he's got a past, obviously, that we know about. He's conflicted about it. He's asked if he's a good person by the doctor when he wakes up, and he says, I don't know. So you've got some internal conflict there. You see him starting to adjust to this community, enjoying himself, becoming part of the community, only to be pulled back into what he was previously doing to protect them. So I enjoyed that storyline. What?
I don't know. Parts of it are okay. Parts of the storyline are okay. But it doesn't. So yeah, I don't know. There's it him being in the community is good. I like that. Um but I don't know. It just seems strange to me the way it happened, I guess. And then he's calling um Dakota Fanning's character, Emma Collins,
Mm-hmm.
um to give them a tip, to give the CIA a tip about where he was at because he wasn't expecting to find drugs there. Or,
Right.
yeah, large quantities of ISIS drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
So then she shows up, and then now he's got this weird mafia thing going on in this little town that he happens to have stumbled into.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that part of the story, like in that little city that he was in, um, it was Italy, right? Or was he?
Yeah, it was Italy.
Okay. Anyway, um, so it didn't. I guess it from my perspective, it didn't add anything to Robert's story. So this wasn't anything that needed to be told
Okay.
because the second movie was about his. Um, the first movie was just getting to know him and figuring out about him, and then the second one was him learning more about his past and coming face to face with his past and having to kill his old friends.
All right.
um, but this one didn't add anything new to his character.
Yeah. And I never argued that it did. It was just a time to go catch up and see what he's up to. So it's like calling
Okay,
an old friend and saying, "Hey, what have you been up to the last 2-3 months since we talked
murder and drug
last?"
lords.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an excuse to see what he's been up to. They weren't. It never felt like they were trying to give us insight into his character at all, other than he's looking to be.
So it wasn't okay. So this movie wasn't necessary.
I don't think it was unnecessary, but
Right, I'm not saying that, but it could have been It could have been 2 movies. You didn't need a third movie, right?
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying I enjoyed the movie for what it was. I
get
didn't need
that.
it to give deep backstory into Robert McCall again.
Right. But I'm saying we didn't need this movie, and it didn't offer anything new or make the trilogy better. And you haven't given me anything to second guess myself on that.
Okay, I'm not trying to convince you that it was a necessary movie. I just said it was an enjoyable movie.
How? I didn't enjoy it that much. It was
That's okay.
okay.
You don't have to enjoy it that much. I
I
did.
asked you to convince me, and you said you would.
I
And
never
you
said I
tried.
would. I
You
never
I'll
said I'd
try.
try. I'm not sure that I did.
Beg to differ.
I just think that it was well acted. I liked the script. I liked the chemistry that between the actors, and I had a good fun time.
What
It's
chemistry?
What do you mean? What chemistry?
What chemistry?
I enjoyed the chemistry between the different actors. So between Robert McCall and Dr. Enzo, I liked their budding relationship. I liked
Like
his
2 old guys
yeah,
hanging out?
yes. I liked his relationship with the community. How they just started accepting him after he was there for a while, and I
Wasn't
liked.
that long, though.
It was a few weeks,
Right, that's not that long.
yeah, but still shows that this community has heart. They're willing to accept people, um,
Who
and
aren't in the mafia?
who aren't in the mafia. And it was nice to see him just becoming part of a community. And then I also enjoyed the scenes where him and Dakota Fanning were interacting as well.
Yeah. I mean, from the beginning, you know who she is.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why they wait so long sometimes to tell you the obvious. And how would he have
But
not have known? How would she have not have known him?
I don't know. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah,
But
because the relationship between her mom and her dad, and Robert and his wife, seemed like they were like
they were
really
close
good
friends.
friends.
Right. Which means she would have seen him before.
Yeah, and yeah, that would have made sense. Because okay, mom's just going taking soup to some random people again. What? It seemed like in the other movies that they had been in each other's lives and over at each other's houses and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So,
but yeah, so this wasn't, like you said, it's not. It didn't take away anything from the trilogy, but it was just a popcorn flick. It was, hey, come enjoy a movie, turn off your brain, and have some fun kind of movie. It's not an in-depth character study movie. So I think if you look at it from that perspective, it is more entertaining. It's just a popcorn flick.
It's not Happy Gilmore. Like,
I didn't say it was Happy Gilmore. I said it's a popcorn flick where you go and you just have fun watching stuff happen on the screen.
Yeah, that's Happy Gilmore. That's Billy Madison.
No, those are comedies. Those aren't.
Those are popcorn flicks.
No, they're not. Those are comedies. Those are different.
So
comedies and popcorn flicks are different things.
What are you talking about? You can't watch what?
A popcorn flick is something you go just to see an interesting story and be entertained. A comedy is there to make you laugh, and yeah. So those are comedies. Those aren't popcorn flicks.
What is your definition of a popcorn flick? Because I'm confused now.
Popcorn flick is just a movie to go watch, be entertained, get a little bit of a story, turn your brain off, and just enjoy the spectacle of what's on the screen. A comedy is there to make you laugh, and that's the main purpose of a comedy. Those are two separate things.
So the main purpose of a popcorn flick is for you to turn your brain off.
And watch a spectacle, yes.
Well, it being a movie means you watching it.
Right.
So
For the spectacle without having to invest a whole lot of brain power into it.
yeah,
Like you
but
would
he's
in a mystery movie.
okay, but these movies I don't think fit that your definition of popcorn flick because he's doing things that require a system of morality and justice, which requires analytical thinking, logic. So, not everything, it's not just he killed dozens of people
Uh-huh.
for
And
a
that's part of the
purpose.
spectacle of the movie.
Right, but this isn't just a shoot 'em up movie. This is
Okay.
a movie based on justice. That's the tagline, right? Justice knows no borders.
Okay.
So he's out for justice. How do I know he's out for justice when the opening scene is a dozen or so dead guys and then you don't know why he's there? And then he's just there for money, which is weird because he's never just done something for money before.
Right, but it wasn't money for him, as we find out at the end of the
Right,
movie.
right. He's stealing back some guy's pension fund that got hacked.
Uh-huh. Or scammed.
That
I don't know if he got hacked. I think he got scammed.
well,
But
he said with one click of a mouse, all of his money was gone.
right.
So I think the pension fund got
Could have been.
like
Could have
somebody
been.
hacked him and like sold his pension fund and stole it.
That could
That
have
was
been
what
what
I was.
happened. Okay.
So he's there to get money back for one guy,
Uh-huh.
but kills a dozen or so people in the process.
Right, because they wouldn't let him in. And he said they should have let me in. I think you're overthinking this popcorn flick.
I think you're underthinking it.
And I'm okay with that.
If so, but okay, but that's the thing, right? So when he goes in the, because I can't remember the first one that well, because it's been a long time since I've seen it. But in the second one, he's on the train at the beginning, kills those guys to rescue a girl,
Okay.
take her back to America, back to her mom, because her dad kidnapped her, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on board with that. He's driving his taxi around, and this lady gets gang date raped. So he goes upstairs, beats the ever-loving crap out of those guys,
Right.
and makes them call the police on themselves.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that. He kills all his own teammates and buddies because they killed his basically his best friend in the world.
Right.
And then now they're trying to kill him. So he's got to kill them. I'm on board with that. But this movie opens, he's already killed a bunch of people, and we don't know why until the very end. And all we know is at the very end is that he did all that for that guy's $340,000.
Uh-huh.
What about all the other people that got scammed? What about that other $8
Well, he
million?
didn't know those other people. He had ran into this guy. Guy
That's not
told him
just
what was okay.
that's not justice.
I'm not going to argue that the tagline doesn't make sense for what the movie was.
Right, but how many things can you say like, "Oh, the taglines are wrong. Oh, the marketing is wrong. Oh, what the actors and writers and directors are saying about the movie is wrong."
Well, again, I still haven't heard anything what the actors and writers and
I
producers have said.
okay. Everywhere it's billed as an action movie.
Yeah. And
So,
studios are dumb and mislabel things all the time.
do you
So,
think the producer, director, writers, and actors aren't on board with it being an action movie?
I don't know. Again, because I haven't heard anything from them. I'm just looking at it from just the movie that I watched. I went in with no expectations, didn't do any research
But
beforehand,
does
and
it
I
meet
enjoyed
the
the movie.
standards of the other two movies?
Yes,
Does
I
it
think
meet the
it.
action standards?
I I don't know.
That answer is no.
Okay. I never said it was an action movie, so I don't have any standards, action standards for it to live up to. I was just going to
If the first
revisit the
two sto
character. I
Okay.
was just going to revisit the character of Robert McCall and
Mhm.
see what the story was. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the movie. That is what I'm
Okay.
getting at.
Alright. If the first 2 Star Wars movies were like they were, and then the third one was a comedy, would you be like, "That was weird. Wonder why they did the third one as a comedy
It
instead of
depends on if I enjoyed
of
it
a
or not.
rebel movie?"
It would depend on if I enjoyed it or not. If it was a bad comedy, then yes, I
Right.
would have asked a lot of more questions.
There's no way you would be okay with, um, uh, Return of the Jedi if it was a comedy.
You don't know that.
There's no freaking way you'd be okay with that. You're like,
Again,
why is this slapstick? You're like, what is going on here? Even if it was good slapstick, you'd be confused.
well, slapstick is a specific type of comedy, so now you're changing the question, but okay.
It's still comedy.
Yeah, but it's a very specific type of comedy.
Don't get hung up on the details, Ryan, of my
Like
fake made up
if
scenario.
okay. Anyway, I didn't have any issues with this movie, or not as many issues as you had.
What were your issues with it?
I do think it was a little slow in some places,
Hmm.
but overall, that wasn't a very big detractor, just a little bit of a nitpick.
I didn't like the main bad guy
Okay.
either.
Which one are you considering the main bad guy?
The main bad guy.
Okay, can you tell me which one you're talking about?
The one in charge of everything.
Okay, all right. The older
Which,
brother.
how would that, what are you talking about?
Well, so the main bad guy. So when you said main bad guy, I was confused as to the younger brother that we see more in the movie or the older brother who picks up the last third of the movie.
Okay. Well, the
So
main bad guy is the main bad guy.
I think the main bad guy was the younger brother who
How
got
is he
taken
the
out
main
pretty
bad guy?
because we visited him more, we saw more of what he was doing to start with. So he was the main threat through the majority of the movie. And then we just see the
No,
older
he's the
brother.
number one henchman.
Right, but he is the one causing most of the problems at the beginning and middle of the movie.
Mm, I don't know about causing most of the. I mean,
He's
he was
causing most of the
he
conflict.
was doing most of the problems.
Right. So
He wasn't
from
the cause.
okay. But I see what you're saying. The big bad guy at the end of the movie. You didn't like him.
What is wrong with main bad guy? He's the main bad guy, and he shows up halfway through the movie.
I mean for like 5 seconds, but okay.
Yeah, and his brother gives him all the money that he
Right.
was collecting,
Okay.
and then
I was
he
just
hangs an old man.
I was just wondering which bad guy you were talking about as the main bad guy.
Anyway, I didn't like him.
Okay.
The
I
younger
don't think you
brother
were
was
supposed to.
okay. Not as a person, as an evil villain character. It was weak.
Okay. I mean, he was trying to set up a mafia empire where he could have casinos and hotels and make money without after hurting a bunch of people.
Right, but it just
Now, they did not flesh out his character a whole lot, but I don't think they needed to. You just
right,
knew.
but if it would have been the late 80s setting, I would have believed it.
Okay.
But it's 2023. I don't believe some nobody guy can muscle his way into Italy and start taking over coastal towns
Well, we don't know how
by
long he's been
hanging
at it.
old men.
We don't know how long he's been at it, we don't know. Yeah, we have no history on what this guy has done. So we have to assume that he's already been at this for a while. So
Right.
it's not that he was
If
a
he's already
nobody.
been at this for a while, he's not on the ground.
Okay.
If he's a billionaire
I never said he was a
bad guy,
billionaire.
right? If he's a billionaire bad guy,
Again, you're making assumptions, facts, not in
I'm
evidence.
I'm not making assumptions. I'm throwing out a hypothetical. If he's a billionaire bad guy, he's not on the ground, right?
Okay.
If he's a millionaire bad guy, he's on the ground.
Okay.
Millionaire bad guys don't take over coastal towns, turn them into gambling resorts, and make billions of dollars.
Okay.
That's not how the world works.
Okay.
And they also
Doesn't
don't do
mean
it
he doesn't mean he can't have ambitions to get to that point.
right, but it just seemed like a weak character and a
Okay.
weak um yeah, it seemed like a weird crime empire going on in Italy where he's got his little brother running around collecting money from this small town, small coastal town,
Mm-hmm.
trying to run people out of business. It just seems strange because I don't know, it seemed there's like a couple thousand people living in this town.
Okay.
And he's got 5 guys trying to take it over.
Okay.
There was more cops standing on the street corner than their 5 guys.
All right.
So it just seemed weak and limp-wristed to me.
All right.
Because the old man, at the end of the movie, the old man shows up with a gun. He could have shot all 5 of them, and nobody would have, like, everybody would have been like, oh, I guess they
Problem
fell.
solved. Yeah.
Like, makes no sense. So, all in all, my least favorite of the 3 movies. It's okay. I will give you that. It's okay. I didn't hate it, but I just got problems with it in the Equalizer storyline.
Okay.
Because the Equalizer series, I guess, it's kind of like the John Wick series, right? You've got your character doing the same thing in every movie. I'm not saying you've got to do exactly the same thing, but they have to stick to any specific formula. But I don't know. I think the problem was the writing.
I disagree with you, but okay. You can have issues with it though. That's fine.
Maybe a little, because I mean it's the same director. I don't know. I don't know if they were trying to go with, oh, he's old now, so he can't do the things he used to do.
I don't think that
Which
was
is
it because there was no indication in the movie that that's what was going on.
right. But I thought that's maybe where they were going at the beginning, because he got shot, and then he was looking like, after he got shot, he was like, oh crap, I got shot, I'm gonna die. Right?
Yeah.
That was the look on his face. I got shot by a kid, now I'm gonna die. And then he's walking around with a cane, but then you start seeing him try to, like, I guess, exercise by doing all the walking.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, maybe they're not going with the I'm an old man now routine. But then in every movie, he's like, I'm retired. And when I think retired, I'm thinking old person
Okay.
who's, not at the top of their game anymore. And we also didn't see him do any of the, like, legwork.
Okay.
Everything is just unstated fact. I don't know.
And you can have these issues, that's fine. I still really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a solid popcorn flick where you just go and have some fun. So I didn't have the same
What
hangups that you
fun?
did. Huh?
Where was the fun?
The fun was watching the spectacle on the screen, seeing a story
What
unfold.
spectacle?
Why are you being like this?
I'm trying to find out what you're talking about.
I enjoyed watching the movie. The storyline was interesting to me. Someone gets injured, starts becoming a part of a community, has to defend the community. I enjoyed the storyline. I enjoyed watching what was taking place.
Okay.
Okay. I've already said this multiple times, and you're wanting me to re-explain.
Well, I don't know. You keep saying spectacle, like, and I keep thinking you got to put your spectacles on to see.
Then you're done.
I'm
Anyway,
dumb.
yes, you are
Okay.
done.
Okay.
But yeah, so overall, I think it's definitely worth a watch. I'd give it a watch recommendation. And out of 10, I'd give this one an 8.4.
I mean, I would say watch it, but wait till it comes on streaming services or something because it's not that great. And I gave it a 5.9. I think it doesn't live up to the previous two movies, which I thoroughly enjoyed those two.
And this is the one that I think this is the movie where we've had the biggest discrepancy between how much we liked it. So, what that means for the people at home, make sure to leave comments down below on who you think is right or your views on the movie. And that
Yeah, if
pretty
you've
much.
seen it, let us know. Am I wrong? Because I don't know. I don't feel like I am. And I mean, I love Denzel Washington movies. I've really liked bringing in Dakota Fanning, even though I kind of wanted her to be on screen more
Okay.
and then to have more of an interaction. And I don't know. And they kind of leave it open for future Equalizer movies, but I don't think they have any plans to make a 4. I guess we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up our in-depth spoiler-filled review of this movie. So if you made it this
Leave
far,
comments, subscribe. Rumble, YouTube, Twitter.
I guess that's one way to do it. And with that, we will see you guys later.
See you guys next time.